El Said stressed that such news are totally false, adding that no investigation of any form was made within this case by the prosecution body following its referral to court months ago. El Said also asked all forms of media to review their sources of information before announcing inaccurate news.
This is ironic because at the time we are demanding the release of the young Egyptians who actually were involved in the same issue, while actually the foreigners, all of them left except one, who insisted to stay to defend his point of view, and he did not mind going to court. We still think that all the Egyptians who were involved in this case should be released immediately. You cannot give presidential pardons and amnesty to people who killed and still keep these young people in jail for something that they might get a very light sentence, or maybe declared innocent in the end of the trial. So the president should consider the future of these young people, the damage that their future is subject to. So actually, I urge the president to release everybody in this case, actually.
And then our next headline, still with Al Akhbar newspaper, Port Said Criminal Court postponed its trial session for 73 defendants accused of killing more than 74 football fans in Port Said Stadium until September 3rd to hear the defense team. The incident took place following an Egyptian Premier League match between Al Ahly and Al Masri, when fans of the visiting Al Ahly team were brutally attacked, injured and killed seconds after the match ended. The trial that takes place within the police academy complex in New Cairo had already listened to representatives of the general prosecution, which asked for maximum sentences against all defendants after presenting different forms of evidence available to convict all 74 defendants, ranging from testimonies, videos, knives, and recognition of few defendants. Of course, this was earlier in February. It was a very unfortunate case, and it was televised, publicly televised to the whole nation. So this was, everyone had been watching this.
I don't think that anybody will oppose very severe sentences to be applied over these people. They've hurt a lot of people. They killed young, innocent Egyptians. They will have to pay dearly for that. I don't want to say that we need to punish the city of Port Said, but these people are definitely criminals, and they have to pay for what they've done.
But already officials who were responsible for security in Port Said during that time were reprimanded, isn't that correct?
Right, right. But again, you know that the way things are running in Egypt, you can always work around things, and
there's always some leeway.
Right, right, right.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Moving on to Al-Wafd newspaper, the Central Security Authority for Census and General Mobilization announced an increase within prices of several goods throughout July. A report issued by the authority said prices of poultry raised 4.8%, reaching 22 pounds per kilo, while the popular fish, bulti fish, that's how it's called in Arabic, increased 2.8%, reaching 18.28 pounds per kilo as compared to its price in June. The report also indicated a 2% average increase in prices of different types of red meat, with an average price of 63 pounds per kilo. A remarkable 62% increase of prices of salty melons was mentioned as well. An annual increase of prices within many of these goods was also mentioned within the report. Poultry prices witnessed a 16.8% annual increase, while red meat had a similar 10% increase as compared to its average price in 2011. Prices of lemon also witnessed an average annual increase by 11.7% as compared to 2011. Even lemon is getting more expensive.
How can we live without lemon?
Yeah, this sucks.
Anyway,
these are very big numbers.
Yes, this is expected actually. You know, nothing. If any price will go down, that will be odd at these present circumstances. We're not living in normal circumstances right now. We should expect a rise in the prices, and this is expected. But again, we expect from the government to interfere, because at the same time, if the prices of fish went up, we are throwing away the fish in Lake Nasser. It is being sold at less than 50 piastres a kilo over there.
Wow.
And we banned the transportation of fish from Lake Nasser to elsewhere in Egypt. It's considered a criminal act if you transport fish from Lake Nasser to elsewhere. So actually we need to look into this, because still Lake Nasser is a good source of fish, and we could solve a lot of problems if we have good management for that problem.
It seems like there is a lack of strategic planning within the government. They're not. I mean, we do have. We do have a lot of leeway to fix things, but there isn't planning and strategy in order to kind of tie the things together and make
the
production.
The present government and the earlier one inherited a lot of loopholes and problems from the earlier governments over the last 3-4 decades. Somebody should be very careful and go through every little detail that has something to do with the Egyptian daily life, and try to solve the problems, because the Egyptians have been suffering for so long, and we need somebody to consider solving their food problems, their health problems. We need to see what is wrong. You cannot throw away fish that's being sold for 50 piastres away and forbid transporting it to elsewhere, and then you claim that the people are hungry or the prices of fish are going up. There is something wrong in this.
Unfortunately, hopefully this is solved. Our next headline is about the Egyptian stock market, which continued increasing for the 5th consecutive session amid wide optimism among Egyptian investors, as the announcement was made for President Morsi's important economic visit to China and its reflect upon the national economy. Local investors continued their purchasing operations, raising market values for stocks to 1.8 billion pounds, raising them to reach 365.5 billion pounds. Market indexes witnessed collective increases, while the main EGX 30 index gained 39 points, closing at 5,281 points, reaching an unprecedented record since more than 6 months ago. The EGX 70 index measured medium and small stocks gained 1.17%, while the wider measuring medium and small stocks increased 1%. Egyptian investors favored purchasing operations, while both Arab and foreign investors sold stocks with a market value exceeding 14 million pounds.
What we need is to stabilize the stock market. We have these sudden increases and gaining of profits, and somebody will surprise us by selling to making a quick profit and getting the profits outside the country. We need to stabilize the stock market. These sudden rises became very scary, because we expect after this sharp rise a big fall after the sale of foreigners and the Arabs.
But it was mentioned here in the headline about the important economic visit to China and how this affected the stock market. I mean, President Morsi has, in a few days, he will be going to China and meeting with the Chinese government, along with a lot of investors and whatnot, planning to cooperate and have a lot of projects between the Egyptian and the Chinese government, which could be seen as a very big step forward for the economy.
It's a good sign, of course. If we consider that China is competing with the West in Africa, and we are absent, we need to cooperate with China in Africa, not only locally. The Chinese have very good investments, and they have a lot of reserves, and we could invest the Chinese reserves in Africa, and we could form joint projects for the production of of electricity from waterfalls in Congo or in Uganda, Tanzania, whatever. We need to cooperate with China in East Africa, actually, and not only locally. So I don't want, I've seen the agenda of the projects that they're going to discuss. It's very humble, actually. I was hoping to see more projects and more investments, actually.
Well, hopefully in the future there are more developments, more projects, more cooperation.
I would like to see things happen in the eastern side of the Suez Canal, something similar to Jabal Ali, development of the eastern side of the Suez Canal. That will be a base to go ahead and develop the rest of Sinai with the cooperation of the Chinese. I think this is a good start.
One of the priorities we should be looking at right now.
Yes.
And finally, with the sports item from Al Wafd newspaper, the champion of Ghana, Chelsea, arrives on Wednesday to Cairo to meet Zamalek on Saturday within the fifth round group of quarterfinals for the African Champions League. A representative of the visiting team arrived on Monday to Cairo for preparations regarding the team's accommodation and exercises. In an unexpected decision, the African CAF approved the attendance of fans into the match that is set to take place in the Military Academy Stadium. A request was made earlier by Zamalek asking for their fans to attend the match as the team remains in a critical situation within its group with no points gained.
Yes, Zamalek is in intensive care. We need to support Zamalek, actually. They don't have any points, actually.
Are you an Ahli fan? Or
Definitely. But again, we like the White Knights, and we would like to see...
we have to support.
Yes, we need to support Zamalek because you know, it's an Egyptian club, and we think that Zamalek and Ahli are traditional competitors, and we like to see Zamalek do better than this.
Are you optimistic about this match?
Yes, I think Zamalek will surprise everybody because the number of supporters that will attend.
I hope so.
Let's keep our
And in terms of security, what are your expectations for this?
I think it will go very well.
I hope so.
I think so, yes.
I really hope so. That was a good note to end our press review on. Engineer Hassan Chamayan, Assistant Chairman of Al Wafd Party, thank you so much for joining us this morning. This we come to the end of our press review, and now we are going to continue with the world of sports. Everything that happened in the past 24 hours in the world of sports with our reporter Ahmed Nader, and we'll be right back with more on The Breakfast.